So we were discussing about how the agricultural products were taken by the government of India in terms of various products such as wheat, poultry farms, fisheries and so on, which contributed to lots in the production and agricultural exports. So logistic ecosystem was also on the boost to boost the export, and India has a challenge under this, although according to UNESCAP data, that is United Nations Economic, Social and Cultural Organization, 90.3% in 2021, the United Nations Economic Commission for Asia Pacific, it was 90.3% in 2021, highest across the world. So remember this UNESCAP data, इसको आप याद रखेंगे. And also this survey notes that India's best performing country in comparison to South and Southwest Asia region, 63.1% in terms of 5 key indicators. So remember these indicators, what are these key indicators? And a score of 78.5% in 2019, so it grew from 78% 2019 to 90.3% in 2021 in all 5 key indicators. So the survey shows that India has already performed quite well in all the sectors in terms of various facilitations of export, development of merchandise trade, development of agriculture produce and other products. So transparency index got 100% score in 2021. It is one of the best news, that is 100% score under the transparency index by India. यानी कि India's export was quite transparent and good to be tracked through any kind of medium via internet or any mediums. So it was 100%, and there was a continuous improvement in all these indicators. Now performance of India in global survey on digital and sustainable trade facilitation. So overall trade facilitation score shows a rising trend from 63.4% to 90.3%, and score of key indicators such as cross-border paperless trade territory was 96, cross-border paperless trade 67 in 2021, paperless trade 96, institutional arrangement and cooperation to 89, and formalities to 96, then transparency to 100. This data again make a huge leap in all these 5 indicators. Remember these 5 key indicators for your prelims as well as mains point of view. Now these are also taken under Prime Minister प्रधानमंत्री गति शक्ति नेशनल मास्टर प्लान. प्राइम मिनिस्टर गति शक्ति नेशनल मास्टर प्लान में इन 5 इंडिकेटर्स के डेटा को यूज किया गया है टू मेक रोबस्ट लॉजिस्टिक्स ग्रोथ सिस्टम. Now what we see that what is the rise in sectors such as petroleum crude 102.7 2019 to a level of 19.2, again pearl and semi-precious stone to a rise of 5.0, then coal, coke and briquettes 4.9, again shows a rising, electronic component to 3.8, and vegetable oils to 3.2, computer hardware peripheral 2.6, and plastic raw materials 2.5. Remember this data for your prelims as well as mains. Now countries with high export again shows that highest growth was in China 15.5, then UAE 7.3, then USA 7.2, then Saudi Arabia 5.0, Iraq 4.9, Switzerland 4.7, 3.2, Hong Kong 2.9, by Indonesia 2.9, again by Singapore 2.9, again by South Korea. So we see that overall rise in the export was shown in the 15.5% in China, second UAE, third USA. Remember this data. Now we should look into the more trends in remittances. So net remittances were on a V-shaped recovery in post-pandemic situation. So earlier quarter first 18.2 was there, then 18.7, then declined to 15.5 at 2020 quarter 2, 15.5, then grows a V-shaped recovery to 19.2 in quarter first, again reduced to 19.2. So remember this data, how remittances are traveling in Indian market. Remittances, again in India it was 87 out of 100, then China 53, Mexico 53, Philippines 36, Egypt 33, Pakistan 33, 27, Bangladesh 23, Germany 20, and Vietnam 18. Now current account balance 24.7 in 2019, then reduced to minus 3.1, then current account balance as of GDP minus 0.9 in 2019 to minus 0.2, a short recovery in the post-pandemic period. Remember this data also. Now capital account balance and its ratio to GDP. How capital account balance is falling, and again recovery in quarter 3, then again falling in 2020 quarter 2. Remember this quarter 2 was the period when after the first pandemic, second pandemic started, and there was again lockdown in March and April. So quarter 2 again declination, again rise in quarter 4 to a level of 35, then again decline, again rise to level of 6 in the fourth quarter. Now net foreign investment again declination to, and again rise, then again decline, again rise to 40.1%. But due to high level of forex, we are having high level of capital account surplus, which leads to BOP surplus at overall by high forex. Okay friends, keep this data in your mind whenever you are writing your answers in mains as well as in prelims when such data are given. अक्सर यूपीएससी ऐसे डेटा में आपको फंसा लेती है और you make the mistake and you make the questions incorrect. So be aware. Again the data shows FPI debt and equity. So foreign portfolio investment during the first pandemic declined to minus 14.5 level, again recovery to 21.1, again decline 5.0 recovery, again decline to minus 5.9. Remember this data, 21-22 December. Although equity was on decline, but the debt was also on little decline. Remember it. Now, the treaties that makes the hedge over the datas are multilateral, which means 59.9% and reduced to -0.4, again recovery to 64.7, 67%, again 68%, 69.7, 70.2 and 71.2. Again September 2021 shows a recovery in the multilateral data. Now the bilateral shows that 27.3 in December, again rise to 2.9, 28%, again rise to 30.9, 30.8 and 30.9 finally. Oh, remember International Monetary Fund data 23.3, trade credit 5.6, commercial borrowings to 218, NRI deposit to 141.6, rupee debt to 1.0, that is again in declination. So rupee debt was quite low. Total long-term debt were again 5.2, short-term debt -1.9, that is 100.6. Remember short-term debt and long-term debt, that is long-term and short-term debt. Now trade-related credits declined to -1.8, that again make a huge leap for you to remember and government to think about the trade surplus and the credits. Now taper tantrum, as we know that 2007 there was a subprime crisis in USA which led to decline of the banking and housing sectors of United States of America, which leads to overall declining of Federal Reserves, which led to again reduction of emerging market economy, Asian nations, African nations, and as a part of border policy respond to the global financial crisis of 2007 and 2008. The US economy gained traction in the attempt to unwind the quarterly expenditure on May 2022, 2013 and the purchase of future debt. Remember this. So this tantrum form a spike in the bond yields. जो भी bonds रहते हैं उनकी bond yield में spikes बनाया इस tantrum ने and resulted into disruptions on the external front of India as well. Remember this data for your prelims as well as mains point of view. Now external debt 224.5, global financial crisis first phase 2009, that means subprime crisis and global crisis. Global financial crisis 224, taper tantrum 2014 446.2 and 2022 post pandemic of corona it was 593.1. Now foreign exchange reserve in billion US dollar, India was at lowest level in 2009 252, but it grew at 304.2 and it again regrew to highest level at 633.6 billion US dollar, highest of all time, highest forex recorded by India. Remember this data, आपको ये याद रखना चाहिए कि इंडिया का जब भी कोई भी पैंडेमिक ग्लोबल लेवल पे हुआ है, then the forex, it means that people around the world and investors around the world think optimistically towards the growth of economy through the means of India. जब भी ग्लोबल डिक्लाइन हुई है तो इंडिया के मीडियम से अपलिफ्टमेंट की अपॉर्चुनिटी देखी जा रही है. दैट इज वाई देयर इज हाईएस्ट फॉरेक्स इन इंडिया इन ऑल टाइम्स. Then debt to GDP ratio 20.1, short term debt 43.2, concessional debt 8.6, reserve total debt 101.1, reserve short term debt is 248.2, reserve cover of imports that is 14.6, debt service ratio is 4.7 and net IIP GDP minus 11.3.